Hi, and welcome to today's talk. Today we're going to discuss why you should fill out the FAFSA. If you're a high school student or the parent of a high school student and you've started doing some research in the college planning process, you've probably run across several acronyms: CSS Profile, FAFSA, EFC, COA, FAO. It's a very confusing process, and parents don't know what they don't know, and so it makes it even more confusing. So today actually we're just going to focus on why to fill out the FAFSA. In our next talk we'll talk about how to fill out the FAFSA, but today we're only going to focus on why to fill out the FAFSA. I'm Michelle Larson with Knowledge for College, a money solver company. I'm every man's college coach. What we're trying to do is bring some common sense back into the college planning process. So let's start about why FAFSA, to do or not to do. I've had many parents tell me, we're not going to fill out the FAFSA. The FAFSA is not going to give us any money. I've heard things like, when am I going to get my FAFSA money? Can my FAFSA money be used on books? Can my FAFSA money be used for rent? What can my FAFSA money be used for? Do I have to pay back my FAFSA money? So I think the first misconception is that the FAFSA gives us money. The FAFSA does not give us any money. Believe it or not, no money comes from the FAFSA. What we have to think about is the FAFSA, which is the free application for federal student aid, is actually just a calculator, and it determines something called your expected family contribution. This is the number that the colleges use to determine how much aid they're going to give you. So what do I mean by that? Let's say the Smith family has an expected family contribution of $20,000. The college will look at this and they will say, oh, the Smith family has an expected family contribution of $20,000. We're going to craft an aid award package around that $20,000. But the Jones family, they have an expected family contribution of $40,000. And so they're going to craft, the college will look at that number and craft an aid award package around that $40,000. So even if the Smith family and the Jones family have the identical student who go to the identical school, who live across the street from one another, the Smith family is likely to get more aid just because their expected family contribution is lower. Now the caveat to that is there is no requirement that says colleges have to give you any money at all. Even if you have a very low expected family contribution, let's say you have a $10,000 expected family contribution or a $6,000 expected family contribution, many families think, well, all I'm going to have to pay for college is $6,000 because that's what the government feels I can pay for college. Nay, that's not true. It depends on college. So the key to lowering your cost of college is in college selection, but that's a topic for another time. Today we're just talking about why fill out the FAFSA. So the first reason you want to fill out the FAFSA is that you could leave money on the table. So what do I mean by that? Let's look at this example. Let's say that your son Johnny got into Vanderbilt, and in his acceptance letter that you received, it said not only did Johnny get into Vanderbilt, but he got the presidential scholarship. And so the presidential scholarship of $10,000. So we moms, mostly moms, right? What do we have to do? What do we need to do? Typically we will put this on Facebook. I like to call it the humble brag. Just so proud of Johnny. Just wanted to give you a short shout out to Johnny. Not only did he get into Vanderbilt, he got the presidential scholarship. Notice I didn't say the vice presidential scholarship. Notice I said the presidential scholarship. And Johnny's worked hard his whole high school career, and we're just so proud of Johnny. And then we're calling our cousins and perhaps our college roommate and several other people, and we're putting all of this social pressure on ourselves to send Johnny where? To Vanderbilt. Now if you have not filled out the FAFSA, all you're getting from Vanderbilt is that $10,000, right? Vanderbilt costs $60,000 a year. I think it's a little more now, but let's say it costs $60,000 a year. You're putting all of this social pressure on yourself to send Johnny to Vanderbilt because he got the presidential scholarship, and don't think colleges don't know that. that if you have not filled out the FAFSA, you're on the hook for $50,000 a year. I've got to tell you, and I know that not everybody will agree with me, but no undergraduate degree is worth $200,000. And it's going to be over that because costs go up every year. But I've got to tell you, no undergraduate degree is worth that. Nobody cares where you've gotten your degree. But I digress. We're not talking about college selection right now. We're talking about the FAFSA. So the first reason you want to fill out the FAFSA is to make sure that you get all the aid that's coming to you. The second reason you want to fill out the FAFSA is in case something unexpected happens. I have had students and clients who have had job losses during this whole application process. Sadly, the death of a parent during the application process. If you have not filled out the FAFSA, it's really hard to go back to the financial aid officer and say, hey, we've had a unique situation or we've had an unexpected event happen and we need to get more money. The first thing they're going to ask you is, where's your FAFSA? And FAFSA money is given out on a first come, first served basis. And I just said the word FAFSA money, and that's not what I meant to say. I meant to say need-based money. Remember, the FAFSA does not give us money, so I shouldn't have said that. The need-based aid is given out sort of on a first come, first served basis. So you want to make sure to log your place in case you have to go back and ask for more money. The third reason that you want to fill out the FAFSA, especially freshman year, is that gives your student access to take out the $5,500 government loan. Again, this is all done through the college itself, not through the FAFSA, but you want to have access to those funds. The reason you want to have access to the funds, in my opinion, is that I do think students should have some skin in the game. So this is the only loan that they can get as a freshman that you don't have to co-sign, and it is their full responsibility. And I'm all for having them take a little bit of that responsibility. But again, that's a Michelle decision, Michelle and my family decision. It may not be yours, but it is certainly nice to have that option. What I find is that sometimes college costs a little bit more than what we were expecting. For some reason, we always underestimate the cost of college. So having access to that $5,500 may mean the difference between taking on a high cost loan. And again, many times some of that comes subsidized, which means the government will pay the interest while your son or daughter's in college. What I do and what I might recommend, especially if you have the extra funding and they don't really need to take this loan, is have them go ahead and take the loan, and then you as parent can start making payments on it. Or certainly you can pay it off when they're out of college. And you might want to have some requirements around it, right? Look, if you will get A's and B's in college, or if you will keep your GPA at such an 3.0 or something like that, then we will take care of your student loan, or you can help them pay it off. There's just a lot of options, and I strongly recommend utilizing that as one of the ways to pay for college. So if you have questions, so those are the three reasons that you want to pay for the student loan or apply for the FAFSA. They are: one, you don't want to leave money on the table, and you will not get money from the school other than merit aid if you don't fill out the FAFSA. Number two, in the event of an unexpected happening, you need to have that FAFSA on file. And number three, access to a student loan that does not need a cosigner. Those are the three reasons that you want to fill out the FAFSA. So I hope this was helpful. Our next session, we're going to talk about the hows of filling out the FAFSA. That's not what the goal was for this particular session. I hope that you will join us. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel. If you're watching this on Facebook, I do hope that you will like our page and share this with a friend. If you'd like to get a copy of the 10 ways that students can score more financial aid, go ahead and either email me, and I'll put my email in the comments. You can email me your email address. You can put your email directly into the comments, and I will email you a copy. Or if you have questions, please put it in the comment section. I will happily answer that as those questions come up. So whether it's on Facebook or on YouTube, and remember to share this, like our page, subscribe to our YouTube channel. All of that would be greatly appreciated. Thanks so much for joining us today, And I look forward to having the next session.